Get laid with this one weird trick. Click here. What's up, everybody? It's Shaboy again, the Unabonger, and today I'm bringing you another episode of Propaganda Autopsy, where we break down a commercial and tell you what it's really trying to sell you. Now, I don't really have a particular video for this episode today. What I want to talk about is basically Jordan Peterson and what I perceive as the danger in basically taking him too seriously.
I'll tell you what it is that you need to do to be successful. Some of these things aren't so malleable, but others are things that you can work on.
Jordan Peterson is... I should say Dr. Jordan Peterson is kind of a famous media personality at this point. I want to say in about 2015, 2016, he kind of hit the media landscape as a sort of philosophical person to follow and listen to. He's an author, having written 12 Rules for Life, An Antidote to Chaos, which I think did pretty well at the time, until basically, and he says it in this video too, you should watch the video, especially if you're a fan, until he basically became drug dependent on some sort of benzo, I don't know exactly what the fuck it is, and had to go to rehab for that for multiple years. Now, I'm not here to shit on anybody who's had dependency issues in the past. You know, we are all physical beings, and it could honestly happen to any of us. And I actually think it's a little bit brave for him to kind of actually try to step back into this role that he previously had of basically telling people what to do. And the video, at least, it sounds genuine. It kind of sounds like maybe he's gotten some of his speaking ability back. I'm not trying to say like he had a stroke or some shit, not that I know of at least. But in my limited experience, it seems when people become drug addicts, alcoholics, that basically they can kind of lose kind of a piece of themselves, which it does kind of seem like he's gotten back. However, the real point I want to make is, should we really be listening to somebody about how to get your life in order and that sort of thing when, let's be honest, he can't do it himself?
Anyways, I'm not going to make this a long video. I wanted to tell you that I'm back in Toronto, that I'm in much better health, although it's still severely impaired, especially in the morning. But I can work again, and I really want to. And that to let you know that with God's grace and mercy, I'll be able to start generating original material once again and pick up where I left off. Thank you very much. And well, thank you very much is probably sufficient. Bye-bye.
This clip I just showed you was from his newest video, basically his return to YouTube, and this is kind of his wrap-up, kind of the gist of it. And yeah, when you're just sitting there talking to your computer, it's very easy to kind of meander and hum and haw and not really be the best speaker that you would be otherwise. But there's a few things from this clip that kind of bug the hell out of me, so let's kind of take a look at that again.
And that to let you know that with God's grace and mercy.
Did you catch that? Let me play it back for you again real quick.
With God's grace and mercy.
Let's do it in slow-mo. And let's replay it too. If you've ever had to go to an AA meeting, you probably figure out pretty quick that basically they're really pushing God on you. They're really pushing Jesus on you. And it's not the worst thing in the world, but basically what they're trying to do is get you to supplant one addiction with another. They want you to basically give up whatever your vice is and replace it with God. Which, hey, if that works out for you, that's great and more power to you. However, I could see that becoming a problem down the road and maybe even creating more problems for the poor bastard. But I'm sure you can guess already what I'm really trying to point out here is, maybe it's a tick, but when he says the grace and mercy of God, it sure looks like he kind of rolls his eyes, doesn't it? Now, maybe he's looking up and to the right trying to remember the word mercy. like it's ultra important to say that part on it too. But it sure looks like he's kind of rolling his eyes there. My supposition is that maybe this whole Jesus thing got pushed on him. And hey, when you're in AA, something like that, sometimes the real answer is, hey, I just gotta regurgitate what they want to hear so I can get the fuck out of here. And, maybe I'm reading way too much into it, but it kind of seems as that's what's going on here. I admit I could be 100% wrong on that, but I'm just going to tell you right now, something about that doesn't sit right with me. Something about that is just kind of raising the hair on my back. You know what I'm saying? And this brings me to the next part of this video that I find pretty troubling.
I can tell you what my plans are for video production, at least for the next while. I completed a biblical series devoted to Genesis in fall of 2017, and that has proved very popular. It's a strange word to use for a lecture series like that. I'm going to start working on the next book in the Old Testament, which is Exodus, but that will take a while. But in the interim, I think I'm going to produce videos devoted to Proverbs, the book of wisdom, essentially, or a book of wisdom. You've all heard, no doubt, that wisdom is proverbial, or that there's such a thing as proverbial wisdom, and that phrase stems from the book of Proverbs, which are single sentence aphorisms imparting some truth. I think the analysis of those, which can be done in a relatively short period of time, will prove of benefit to me and perhaps to those who are inclined to watch or listen to my analysis.
Now, it's one thing to give a bunch of fatherless man-boys on the internet some generic advice.
Look, it's good for you to go take your place in the world. Have some ambition. Have a vision. Have a goal. Have a strategy.
But as a Christian, it's another thing to me to kind of start grifting for the Lord, which is what I fear Jordan Peterson's next turn in life is. Now, this is no real skin off my ass. I had my Jordan Peterson phase probably in about 2017, and honestly, I found most of what he had to say either generic or big word bullshit.
Okay, how does that make sense? Well, none of this makes sense. Part of the reason it doesn't make sense is because it isn't designed to make sense. It's designed to be destructive.
Obviously, that last clip is out of context, and he's not referring to his rhetoric and philosophies. But I think it kind of makes my point and helps me win this YouTube argument, so why wouldn't I do that, right? But what I'm really trying to get at here at the end of the day is, I hope you don't fall for this shit, guys. If you're really lacking a daddy figure in your real life and you've got to latch on to somebody on the internet for advice and approval and to be your role model, instead of falling for this shyster again, at least try somebody new and hop on the Humaine Garbeige bandwagon. I can tell you how to live your life too. And much like Dr. Peterson, we also have a book published called Black Osama in The Terrorcide Effect, and you can buy it on Amazon today. Anyway, guys, that's all I've got for you this time. If this is your first time watching a Humaine Garbeige video, please do me a favor and hit the subscribe button and tickle the bell to get notifications sent to your inbox and phone. Follow the official social media accounts of Humaine Garbeige at Humaine Garbeige on both Twitter and Instagram. Stay tuned for another video from Humaine Garbeige, and as always, remember to hit the pipe harder than you hit your wife and kids.